There was once a little girl with copper-braided pigtails that swung when she walked. The girl loved school and her friends and the stories she wrote in the margins of her notebooks. She had quite the imagination and was able to conjure up whole worlds in her mind. Sometimes she would bring her friends along to these worlds, and other times she would go alone, enjoying the freedom and solitude. The little girl had a beautiful room that her mother had painted pink and filled with trinkets and dolls and fairy tales written in her soft voice. Her mother had her own worlds too, and if the little girl was lucky, her mother would open a window and let her in to see what her mind had devised, and the little girl could smile. But the little girl had to leave her room one day. She was taken by the bad men. The little girl had never met these men, but she knew them. They were in her mother's stories. They were just men, but the girl saw the monsters that lurked under their skin, and she knew then that her mother had been preparing her. And the bad men cut her pigtails, and there were copper stumps protruding from her head. And the girl felt ugly with her horn stumps, and she cried all day long. The girl never saw her mother again, but her words and her stories echoed quietly off the wooden beams and huddled bodies on the girl's bed. But they were often drowned out by the screams and moans that came from the bodies above and below. And the girl was cold and hungry and sad until one day she realized that she could drown out the noise and build a new room. She closed her eyes, and there it was. At first it was empty, but she slowly painted it pink and discovered trinkets and dolls hiding in undiscovered corners. Soon her mother's soft voice hummed fairy tales in her ear, no longer just an echo. And worlds unfolded in front of the girl, and it took time, but she could find freedom in that solitude. She knew then that she could survive, and the girl could smile, even if just for a moment.